Here's another couple comments, also by a couple people, and it says, you do not understand her and likely refuse to for political reasons." Swallowed a lot of smears against her, calling her a narco-capitalist. I'll get to that as well. Okay, that is downright irrational and subjective. Given your past communist beliefs, it is no surprise. Now, I want to clarify. I was a communist for at least 20 years of my life, throughout my youth, essentially. And I got out of that. I'm no longer a communist by no means, but and I laugh up my youth. You make errors when you're young, and that's one of the errors I committed. I confess. Okay, but no, it's what I'm going to talk about. Ayn Rand has nothing at all to do with politics. Believe me, and I think I'll clarify that in the next, whenever I get to them. Right. Not really sure why you are having such a strong reaction against her. Well, I'm having a strong reaction because I disagree with everything that Ayn Rand said. And not with respect to politics. She did a lot of politics and economics, that sort of thing. I'm not talking so much about that. I'm going to talk about how her foundations for physics were not, they were set on quicksand. She was building this on quicksand. That's how she built her structure. Okay, and again, I'll get to all that. I'll go one by one. I'm just setting now the tone, what the issues are. Okay, so that's the point right now, and narco-cap, that's got to do with anarcho-capitalism. And for short, I call it narco-cap. Okay, and I got a couple friends. Shamu and Dave, and they beat me up on that because they are narco caps, and we do have a lot of the debates with them on the new wave. This is the Austrian School of Economics, and how free will enters the decisions of humans, or should enter the decisions of humans, how you have to get government off your back and have, essentially free will, the free will to think whatever you want, say whatever you want, trade whatever you want without having the government come in there and tax you and compel you and put a gun to your head and that sort of thing. And I have a lot to say about that, but I don't want to get into too much politics because I really do physics, okay? But that's what narco-cap refers to, okay? And right off, I can see you have strong feelings against laissez-faire capitalism. I'll talk a little bit about that. I have no problem with laissez-faire. It's really a different angle altogether. So it's got nothing to do with that. I got as much against laissez-faire capitalism as I have against communism as I have against any political system today. I don't care what political system you are, I'm against it. Okay, and I'll get to that. And then I think another fellow says here, I suspect you and her have very different political views. Yeah, a little bit. We differ a little bit with Ayn Rand, okay? And I said, but you and her have several agreements on, say, metaphysics. That's where I want to get to. No, we don't. We have no commonality whatsoever on metaphysics, on what is known as metaphysics, okay? And here's a definition of metaphysics to put that into the proper context, okay? This is, I think I got this either from the Wikipedia or from dictionary.com, one of those two. The branch of philosophy, okay? Right there, we're talking about philosophy. I don't do philosophy. That deals with the first principles of things. No, the first principles of things are the foundations of physics, okay? If we're going to talk about things, the first principle is that you need an object. That's the first principle. And metaphysics has nothing to do really with that. Essentially, they treated metaphysics equal to epistemology, equal to philosophy. And no, I don't do philosophy. I set the foundations of physics, including abstract concepts such as being, knowing, identity, time, and space, except for space, which somehow enters the realm of physics. Not really, only as a contrast, right? Being, knowing, identity, and time have nothing at all to do with anything. We don't use those words in science. Sorry, okay? So anyone who uses being, knowing, identity, time, consciousness, anything like that, we get rid of. We don't deal with those things at all. They would regard the question of the initial conditions for the universe as belonging to the realm of metaphysics or religion. Yeah, metaphysics is religion. That's what metaphysics is. Anyone doing metaphysics is doing religion. You either do foundations of physics or you do religion. And then you have abstract theory with no basis in reality. That's what metaphysics is. So as you can see, none of that pertains to me. I don't do metaphysics. Now, people like to call it metaphysics. They got that word from Aristotle, his book is, one of his books is known as Metaphysics. And that's like a philosophy. That's what throughout the ages, they considered it philosophy. And again, they're dealing with the foundations of physics, which they never established. So this is the issue. The issue, we need to clarify all that very carefully, because that's where the problem is. If you're going to write a book, for example, on physics, and you don't lay the foundations, you're not going to have good physics. Your theories are going to be screwed up. And then you can say, well, that's philosophy, that's ontology, that's epistemology, and that's metaphysics. No, you need to lay the foundations like you would for medicine, for law, or for any other discipline. You need to lay the foundations of the discipline. And I got a good example. One of them is biology. A lot of people say, oh, I'm a biologist, they say. No, they can't be a biologist on planet Earth, not today, because they never defined what life is. Nobody knows how to define the word life. And so I had to go in there. I'm not a biologist, but I had to define the word life for them. And so, yeah, we got a problem, because these people, without defining the foundations of their discipline, they just start ranting, and they just go in there and they say, okay, let me talk to you about biology. How can you talk to me about biology if you don't know what life is, and biology is the study of life? How can you be a biologist? And this is the issue. The issue is that we need to lay the foundations for each discipline. That's not called philosophy. That's called laying the foundations of the discipline. And that's what we do for physics. So no, I don't do metaphysics. I despise the word. I hate to be called a metaphysicist. And so on, what is that? No, I lay the foundations, period, for the discipline. It's for physics. We're done, Okay.